everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Corps studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got an exciting one for you. These commanders are silently climbing the power rankings, and as a reminder, there's a handy-dandy link to all these commanders and all the cards on this episode in the description below. With all that said, let's jump into them. First up, Gonti, Knight Minister, is such a powerhouse and such a fun commander. A 3/4 Aetherborn Rogue for 4 mana in black. When a player casts a spell they don't own, that player creates a treasure token. Oh, and hey, by the way, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller looks at the top card of that player's library, exiles it face down. They may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Mana of any type can be spent to cast a spell this way. So the name of the game is, hey, everyone hit each other. Well, okay, not me, but everyone else. Everyone hit opponents. You are incentivizing opponents to hit each other, which is great. But of course, you're going to build your deck around that and other things as well, playing your opponent's cards. Tormented Soul is a great card and a great representation for what this deck is about. A 1/1 for 1 that says, hey, well, I can't block, but I also am unblockable. You can't block me. I don't need to block. I'm just going to swing through and get a lot of treasures and swing through, get, spells essentially, and get treasures from those spells. You know what I mean. From there too, Thieving Amalgam, an amazing card. A 6/7 Ape Snake for 7 mana. Begin each opponent's upkeep. You may invest the top card of the player's library, so you're stealing your opponent's cards and turning them into your own as 2/2 creatures. Oh, and by the way, whenever a creature you control, but don't own, dies, hey, the ones you maybe stole from your opponents, its owner loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. There's a lot of other effects like this that can benefit you for theft. Yeah, Gonti is such a fun commander. Again, like a lower-the-ground flying men type strategy that incentivizes opponents to hit each other while also utilizing their cards. Check it out, pick it up, build around it. The Walls of Ba Sing Se is such a solid new commander. I mean, literally, a 0/30 wall with Defender that costs 8 mana that says, other permanents you control have indestructible. Yeah, that's pretty insane. This is a crazy good commander that basically says, hey, you know what we're going to be doing? Sticking around. It's basically like Avacyn, but for colorless, which you can do some really cool things in colorless for that. And also with this, you do need to, again, grant this indestructibility, which of course you can, but if you say put a Darksteel plate on this, Nev's Disc is just going to be, absolutely brutal for everyone, except for you. An artifact for 4, enters battlefield tap, pay 1, tap, destroy artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. It is then a repeat board wipe for 1 mana because you're not sacrificing it to do so. It's supposed to destroy itself, but it won't because it'll have indestructible. So again, if your Walls commander is indestructible thanks to a Darksteel plate, all of a sudden, you just have as many board wipes as you ever want. So you can go with that direction, or, just a slightly nicer version, but still pretty brutal too. Pariah's Shield, throwing that on your wall. All damage will be dealt to you is dealt to equip creature instead. Yeah, you literally say, hey, you know what, 30 damage, if you don't have it, you can't take my creature out that is protecting me. You can't take my commander out. It is such a crazy commander. Again, 30 toughness is insane. Indestructibility for all of your other permanents is more insane. Such a crazy, cool new commander that you can do a lot of crazy things with. Tannuk Memorial Ensign still continues to climb. A 2/4 Kavu Pilot for 3 mana in Rhul. An uncommon commander, but definitely not an uncommon effect. Whenever a land you control enters, 1 damage each opponent. Oh, and by the way, if it's the second time this ability resolved this turn, you draw a card. Meaning that, hey, landfall equals good. Yeah, that is a really hard thing to stop, landfall. It really, really is. You already benefited in Commander for, going big with lands. In this, Commander just says, yeah, okay, I can be your win condition as well as your draw condition, too. This is also one that also benefits you from cards like Keen Sense. My goodness. Enchanted creature, whenever enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. Yeah, at a certain point, Wizards realized that they made a mistake with these kind of cards and actually changed it to combat damage, but they were a bit too late for some of them, like this one. You throw this on your commander, all of a sudden, any land comes into play under your control, you're drawing 3 cards, again, assuming you've got 3 opponents, because your commander is dealing out 1 damage each opponent. Oh, and by the way, the second time it happens, again, let's say you play that Evolving Wilds, cool, draw 3 cards, you crack it, you go get another land, and that comes into play, all of a sudden, that's 3 more damage, that's 3 more cards, plus the extra card you draw from your commander, that's 7 cards drawn. You just got a brand new hand for playing and cracking and Evolving Wilds. Insane. Torbrand, also besties with Tannuk. Hey, 2/4 Dwarf Noble for 4 mana in red. If a red source you control deal damage to an opponent, a permanent opponent controls deals damage +2 instead. Now your commander, instead of being tiny little pings, is all of a sudden lightning bolt to your opponent's faces. Yeah, this commander can go super quick, do super cool things, and yeah, landfall is a very powerful strategy. This one just keeps growing and growing and growing in power. Check it out, pick it up, build around it. Tifa Lockhart is a powerhouse that can take players out in absolutely no time. A 1/2 a trample human monk for 2 mana in green. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa's power until end of turn. Again, literally, Evolving Wilds is like, okay, yeah, double again. That might not be that impressive when you just start off at 1 power. Obviously, it does get pretty big really quickly, obviously, but like, yeah, 2 lands, okay, yeah, sure. That goes from 1 to 2, 2 to 4. But if you can manipulate the base power ever so slightly, I mean, Black Blader 4, just as an example, +1/+1 for each land you control, quick legendary creature 3. Yeah, your commander all of a sudden has, oh, I don't know, let's just say that you have 5 lands in play, okay? 6 power. You double, and then you double again. Yeah, that means that all of a sudden that Evolving Wilds turn your commander from a 6 power commander into 12, then into 24, and that is a one-shot trampling KO at anyone. Very simple, very effective. Of course, other cards like Planar Engineering that have come out more recently are insane with this commander. We're getting more and more landfall triggers, basically, or ways to, get better landfall triggers. Sacrifice 2 lands. Go get 4 basic land cards, put on battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Yeah, all of a sudden you're like, hey, it's like a double Harrow. It's like Explosive Vegetation, but much better. It is a way to get 4 landfall triggers at once. Again, literally just at a base with your commander at 1 power plus this card. It goes from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16 power. Only just by playing Planar Engineering. And again, if you can adjust that base power of Tifa beforehand, your opponents are just going to be gone. Yeah, this commander is an absolute powerhouse that is just taking out opponents here, there, and everywhere. Moving on, a super spicy commander, Dawnsire, Sunstar, Dreadnought. Again, they changed the rule with spaceships, vehicles, all those things. Can be your commander. 5 mana, and it is station, of course. You tap another creature you control, put a charge counter on, based on the power, essentially. And then, hey, once it's got, 20 plus, it's got flying, and it's a 20/20, and that's amazing. And it's basically a one-shot KO. I mean, it's like just under the one-shot KO. Been really cheeky if they just put extra 1 power, but sure. You got ways you can pump it, all right? If you really want to go about that, you can. But of course, the really spicy part about this is the 10 plus. Hey, whenever you attack, it deals 100 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, which is like, yeah, I mean, overkill in many ways, right? You're going to obliterate basically anything that's not indestructible. Or, you've got your own indestructible thing that you're targeting, like Stuffy Doll. So much fun. 0/1 construct with indestructible for 5 mana. As enters battlefield, features a player, they're gone. Hey, whenever this is dealt damage, deals that damage to the chosen player, and you can tap it to ping itself for 1. Basically, hey, here you go. You say, okay, I attack. Again, with anything, literally, you can have Stuffy Doll be the one that attacks. It doesn't have to be Dawnsire. And you go, okay, cool. Yeah, 100 damage to Stuffy Doll, which is 100 damage to that player's face, and they are gone. And of course, you can have ways to reset this, you can have ways to balance this, replay it, etc., 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 get back out of your graveyard if you sacrifice it, etc. And yeah, there's also other really cool strategies that you can utilize, like Traxos 7/7 Trampling Construct for 4 mana. Hey, enters battlefield tapped. Oh no, doesn't tap to tap step. Oh no, but hey, if you cast a historic spell, including artifacts, legendary sagas, you untap this. You're going to have a lot of artifacts, especially a lot of low-the-ground artifacts too. You play them, you untap this, and you can start stationing up your Dawnsire. So yeah, it is such a good commander, such a fun commander. Again, one that can be a one-shot KO very easily, and one that can utilize other spicy things like Stuffy Doll to one-shot KO your opponents too. Wan Shi Tong Librarian is an amazing card in the 99, but also an amazing commander as well. Such a powerful one. A 1/1 Bird Spirit flying. Well, I mean, it does have flying, but also has vigilance, and it's got flash. It's got all the things. For X blue, when it enters, put X counters on him, then you draw half X cards rounded down. Whenever opponents search the library, you get a counter on this commander, and you draw a card. Yes, so what you're doing with this one is essentially you're going like, hey, yeah, I can just flash this in whenever I need to. Like, basically just go like, okay, yeah, right before my turn happens, your end step. Okay, cool. All right, got it. For my turn, I dump a bunch of mana into this, and all of a sudden, I have a commander out there with a decent amount of counters on it. I flashed it out, and I drew a decent amount of cards too. Or I can do it in response to an opponent searching their library, basically. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to cast Evolving Wilds. You're like, oh, cast Evolving Wilds. I'm going to cast, because you play Evolving Wilds and you crack it. You know what I mean. You cast a Rampant Growth. There's a lot of opportunities where opponents are searching the library, especially when it comes to land ramp, basically, or again, fetch lands. So this can just grow throughout the game on its own very easily. It can gain you a ton of card advantage too. But of course, you can force its hand just a little bit too. Field of Ruin, a great card for this commander. Tap for colors, pay 2 tap, sacrifice. Store target non-basic land opponent controls. Each player search your life for a basic land card on the battlefield, then shuffle. Yeah, you are, again, forcing that search. You are forcing that card draw for yourself and extra counters. Speaking of extra counters, you can also plan in to proliferate if you really want to. Or you cast a non-creature spell, Proliferate, with Flux Channeler, such a good card. Getting a lot of good control strategies around this commander, utilizing a lot of non-creature spells, getting a lot more counters on this. Again, Flying Vigilance can be a great blocker for you, but can be a very, very good, again, attacker for you as well. I mean, with like a Fire Shrieker double strike, it could be a one-shot KO too. Such a solid commander that gives you an insane amount of card advantage throughout the game. Betor, Kin to All, is such a fun commander. A 5/7 Spirit Dragon with flying for 5 mana. Abzan, at the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, you draw a card. You're almost there. Again, literally 5/7 right there. You're 3 away. You'll get there. Okay, I promise. Hey, oh, by the way, if creatures you control have toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Sweet. Okay, so if I've got like mana dorks, I get my mana back. If I've got, just regular creatures that are attacking, they basically have pseudo vigilance. Cool. If they've got tap abilities, great. I get to utilize them again. Then if creatures you control have total toughness 40 or greater, oh, by the way, each opponent loses half their life rounded up. Yeah, that's the spicy part. Being able to just drain your opponents by half is insane. But of course, I mean, there's ways to maybe make it all their life. Wound Reflection, cards like this, enchant for 6 mana. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to life they lost this turn. Again, if they lose half their life, then they lose the other half their life. They're gone. All you have to do, again, is basically with this commander, get this card out or a card like it out. There's other ones that basically do the exact same thing. And all of a sudden, your opponents are gone once you get to 40 toughness, which is super easy to get to. I mean, again, obviously, you can go wide, you can add counters, whatever you want to do, or you can just play, like, high toughness creatures like Tree of Redemption if you really want to. 0/13, Plant with Defender for 4 mana. Tap, exchange your life total this creature's toughness. Yeah, it's got 13 already right there, which is amazing. But, of course, if you really want to just go, okay, swap this with my life total, it's at 40. Cool, this is a 40 toughness creature. I've got 47 toughness on the battlefield, so all of a sudden, yeah, that triggers. You lose half your life. Oh, I've got Wound Reflection in play. You all lose. Such a good commander, such a solid commander, such a fun commander that is very unique and goes about things in a really cool way. Check it out, pick it up, build around it. Gwenom, Remorseless, is such a solid commander, taking a concept of a well-loved and well-hated card by many in the community and saying, hey, what if it was a commander? A 4/4 Symbiote Spider Hero for 5 mana in black. Death Touch lifelink, of course. Whenever it attacks until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library. Anytime you may play cards to the top of your library, if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to that mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So, yeah, basically, Bull Citadel on a commander. Insanely good. Again, yes, you have to attack with your commander, but sure, you got ways to get it through, you got ways to protect it, you got plenty of ways to say, you know what, this isn't just going to be a one-off effect, but even if it is, I mean, you can just kind of win on that turn many times, because being able to play off the top of your library for life is insane. I mean, Aetherflux Reservoir is a crazy good card. It's $23 right now somehow. My goodness, when I put it back in my Druid deck a long time ago, it was not that price. It was much cheaper. I think it was less than $1. Artifact for 4. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain life for each spell you've cast this turn by paying 50 life and 50 damage to our creature player. So yeah, you got ways to gain life back. Of course, I mean, like, you've got so many ways to gain life back in black. You just play like Gary once, right? Greymerch of Asphodel, enters the battlefield, drains opponents for like 10, and then you gain like 30. You got ways to gain the life back as you just keep playing spell at the top of your library. And of course, you got ways to, well, curate the top of your library with cards like Doom Whisperer. 6/6 Flampling Demon for Nightmare Demon for 5 mana in black. Again, literally, back in the day, they'd be like, hey, what's the downside? And these days, it's like, it's got more upside. Pay 2 life, Surveil 2. You can just keep manipulating the top of your library to make sure you get what you need. Again, life loss is fine with this deck. You've got ways to gain life. Manipulate the top of your library, get the cards that you need on top, and just win. Gwenom Remorseless is most definitely remorseless and just keeps growing and growing and growing in power, dominating tables left, right, and center. Oviya Automech Artisan is such a fun commander, such a solid commander, a 1/2 Human Artificer for 4 mana in green. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample. The way that it's worded, again, is not just your creatures have trample. It is literally, hey, if opponents are attacking each other, they get trample, which is great because it can be a way to incentivize players like, hey, you've got that giant creature over there, but it doesn't have trample, so swing, please, at someone else. Pay a green, tap, you may put a creature or a vehicle card from your hand on the battlefield. If you put an artifact to get 2 counters on it, cool, that's great. But you know what really matters is this is literally just like Elvish Piper in the command zone plus trample. Amazing, because you can play things like, well, Seeker of Skybreak and get that twice. 2/1 Elf for 2 mana, tap on tap target creature. Being able to just go, yeah, let's just do that again. Okay, cheat something else out into play. Lovely, amazing, great. Oh, by the way, I've got absolutely massive, just giant things like World Spine Worm, a 15/15 Worm with Trample for 11 mana, but I'm paying 1 for it, and I can cheat into play whenever I want. It basically has Flash. Oh, and by the way, when this dies, I get 3 5/5s. Oh, and by the way, when it hits the graveyard from anywhere, I shuffle it so I can get it back again. Yeah, this is a really fun commander that is super straightforward and just like, yeah, okay, big creatures, cheat him out. Untap commander, do it again. Fun times to be had. Check it out, pick it up, build around it. And finally, Ishtola Rhul, a 3/5 cat druid for 6 mana in blue. Beginning of your end step, exile target creature control return to the battlefield under its control. Then after the first end step this turn, there's additional end step after this end step. Basically, double up your end step, essentially, like Paradoxical Haze, but for the end step, and also, like, a free blink, too. So, like, Conjurer's Closet is just basically another Conjurer's Closet, which gives you another, well, trigger on Conjurer's Closet, if all that made sense. Blink all the things. Basically, pay 5 mana for this artifact, and all of a sudden you get a free blink at the end of your turn, which again turns into 2 blinks thanks to your commander. And of course, you can utilize great ETBs like Agent of Treachery, which also amazingly has an ETB that also corresponds to the, well, end step trigger too. A 2/3 human rogue for 7 mana enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanently. It is yours. Oh, by the way, at the beginning of your end step, you control 3 more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. That's going to be triggering a lot. You're going to be stealing a lot of things, gaining a lot of things. The ETB is insanely powerful. It's a lot of great ETBs you can use and abuse with this commander, and a lot of great end step triggers that you can do the same with. Such a fun commander, such a solid commander, such an insane commander. Check it out, pick it up, build around it. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.